What's up, guys? This is Courtney, one half of the Real Brothers of Deconstruction here. Look, I know that was a really random statement. Talk to Bruce about it. Today, I'm finally going to be bringing my redo video of the DC Extended Universe, which is their cinematic universe for those not in the know for some reason. Again, I know it's been a while. I know it gets tiring me saying that. I moved into a new place, so here I am. I finally gotten some time to actually do a video. When coming up with this video and this idea, I gave myself some rules to abide by. Mainly, try to kind of stay within the movies that they've already released and try not to make extremely large changes to the movie. So if I'm redoing Suicide Squad, I won't take this opportunity to recast Joker because people didn't like him. Things like that. Let's go ahead and start. I'll try to keep my explanations to a minimum depending on the movie. There are two big movies that are probably going to warrant a very long explanation. I'll try to keep it short so this video doesn't end up being 20 or 30 minutes long, because then that's just going to mean it's a pain in the ass for me to edit. First things first, Man of Steel. Man of Steel is still going to come out in 2013 according to my schedule. But the one thing that I change for Man of Steel is put this movie in Smallville. Base it entirely in Smallville. I'm not too sure. I can't remember where or when. But I remember reading a quote from Zack Snyder saying this is about Clark's journey to becoming Superman. If that's the case, Man of Steel should have been primarily based in Smallville, and we should have seen the Kent's values that were instilled in Clark, helping him become the man that he is and eventually lead to Superman. Man of Steel needs to be based in Smallville and show us that if this was supposed to be a story about Clark becoming Superman. The idea behind this is that we're going to get better character development for Clark. That's going to do wonders for us going forward. There really isn't all that much to say. Especially, I mean, it's possible. I actually went back and looked it up. Man of Steel is almost 2.5 hours. And we do not get a lot of good development in that movie at all for Clark. 2.5 hours. And speaking in script terms, that's 150 pages. If a page is supposed to be a minute on the screen. 150 pages? And you telling me you couldn't do a proper or coherent 3-act structure and actually give us good development in that? And again, even before, my problems with Man of Steel were always David S. Goyer's writing. I think Zack Snyder gets a little bit too much credit for Man of Steel not being all that great. His direction and his style is fine. It's the writing where it suffers, and David S. Goyer has writing credit on that movie, so that's who I'm blaming. All right, moving ahead. The next movie up in my schedule will be 2015, Suicide Squad. Now, I know what you're thinking. Why not do a Man of Steel sequel? Whatever. This is my reason for putting Suicide Squad next. I already told you guys I was going to try to stay in the realm of movies that they've already released. To me, out of all the movies that they have done, Suicide Squad makes the most sense when it comes to allowing them to do world building. If this is supposed to, lead towards the Justice League movie, Suicide Squad is the world building movie. It should have been that to begin with. You can still have basically the same cast, but just change the story and some other things. The main thing with Suicide Squad, it definitely needs better editing. That's common sense. In my notes, I said make Joker the villain. I ended up changing them just a little bit, but make Joker the villain, pick a character out of the group to be the main character that we kind of see the movie through. And Suicide Squad is going to be one of those movies in this, redo that has kind of an extended explanation on things. Hopefully it doesn't go on too long. Pick a character out of the group to be that main character. So the three that make the most sense to be chosen are Harley Quinn, Deadshot, and Rick Flag. Now, If Joker is going to be the villain of the movie, if you still want to keep Enchantress in it, you can have him steal Enchantress's heart, just to create havoc and what have you. And the team gets deployed. Now, in my updated version, I changed that around a little bit because the team is no match. If we're being honest, the team is no match to go up against Enchantress. So, if Joker is going to be the main villain, you can have him create some type of Joker gas, Joker venoms that he's gonna, drop on the city or something like that. The squad has to be deployed to stop him. Something like that. If you choose that route, make Harley Quinn the main character that we see the movie through. Because that adds that dynamic of, I'm always gonna be there for Mr. J, but I'm also liberated and can make my own decisions, and I don't need for him to be in my corner anymore. I also make Harley Quinn obsessed with Joker. I don't make Joker obsessed with Harley Quinn. I like that in Suicide Squad. I still like that relationship, but I can admit that that's not how that relationship should have been portrayed. That there's set video and set pictures to prove it of Joker smacking Harley. Even in the extended cut, he was very dismissive. He didn't want her around. Keep that type of relationship. This isn't a relationship to be like, oh, relationship goals. No, it's abusive. It's a negligent relationship. The other two ways that you can go, Deadshot and Rick Flag are going to be kind of similar when it comes to making them the main character. I think that when it comes to Deadshot or Rick Flag, you have to make the main villain some type of mob boss or political threat, respectively. If Deadshot is going to be the main character, have, a group of assassins, or have it be like a hit on a country's leader. Because Task Force X is supposed to be the black ops group for the government to use. If they get caught, they're a group of villains. There's built-in deniability. They can just say that these group of villains got together and went rogue. That's if you use Deadshot. For Rick Flag, it can still be some type of national security threat. That's why I said it's going to be similar with those two. But that's how I would change Suicide Squad. It's nothing super detailed. Better editing. Pick a villain with proper motivation, and then pick a main character that we can see the movie through. Now, like I said, that comes out in 2015. Now, after Suicide Squad, I'm putting, also in 2015, the Batman movie. Now, I know what you may be thinking. They haven't released their Batman movie yet. Yeah, I know, I get it. But for this kind of phase one, I guess you could say, that I'm creating, I want Batman to have his own movie. For the Batman movie, it's going to be loosely based on the Hush storyline. Now, if you're not familiar with the Hush storyline, I say look it up, check it out. It's a very good read. It's probably on a lot of lists as one of Batman's better storylines in the comics. But basically, Thomas Elliot, I believe, he's a fucked up kid. But he's one of Bruce's childhood friends who basically gets jealous of Bruce when his parents die, because he tries to kill his parents to inherit the money because they were doctors or something like that. But after Bruce's parents die, he's like, oh, that could be me. Like I said, really crazy. But he ends up getting jealous of Bruce, ends up trying to, screw him over, and then he starts operating on himself to make himself look like Bruce, because he wants Bruce's life. And he used elements of Death in the Family. That's going to come back later. Again, even the Batman movie can be the world building movie. Suicide Squad is going to be that world building movie, is because you can have, all these villains are from, different corners of this universe that we're building. You can have them reference like, Boomerang, aren't you tired of getting your ass kicked by the Flash? Wouldn't you move over to Star City or something like that? And you can have them chip back, it doesn't look like Gotham is too good of a place to live right now with the bat hanging over your head every night. It just creates the world without being over the top. Now with the Batman, you're using Death in the Family, because, again, that adds to world building, and that, along with Hush, are very personal stories that we haven't seen Batman go through yet in the movies. Now, in Suicide Squad, you can still have it referenced that Harley Quinn and Joker murdered Robin, So when you use events from Death in the Family in the Batman movie, you can basically kind of explain it away that, hey, and I think Hush does this in the book. I can't exactly remember, but he kind of throws that in Batman's face. He may or may not know that Bruce and Batman are the same person. But but there are other characters in the Hush storyline that bring up Robin's death. You have Clayface, you have Riddler, you have a bunch of other characters. Now, you don't have to use every character. That's why I say loosely adapt. But you can have Clayface and Riddler pop up as supporting characters in the story. But it's all going to tie together. You're just bringing in Death of the Family. And you can show it if you want. I probably would, probably in a flashback, because Bruce is dealing with that trauma. Now, jump ahead to 2016. Again, 2 movies are coming out. The first movie, Wonder Woman. Now, Wonder Woman I'm not really making any changes to besides the third act and that fight with Ares. Just to be safe, spoilers. The third act fight with Ares is a little over the top. It's a little CGI heavy. And I think cleaning it up just a little bit and actually having Danny Hudson be Ares and having a much more grounded hand-to-hand fight and then maybe going and using powers later on would have been much better. But I enjoyed Wonder Woman. I do think it's massively overhyped. Come at me. But that's really the only thing that I would change. It's still a period piece movie, so you can kind of drop it wherever. That comes out first in 2016. The second movie to come out in 2016 is Batman v Superman. Going back and mentioning the time jump between Man of Steel and Batman v Superman. Man of Steel came out in 2013. Batman v Superman was supposed to come out in 2015, came out in 2016, and it still referenced the Battle of Metropolis. Now, Batman v Superman, we're still kind of keeping that basic plot because that's going to be the driving force of our film. But there's one major change I'm making to the movie that has a trickle effect of other changes. That one change, no Doomsday. Okay? Now, by proxy, having no Doomsday means 2 things. No death of Superman and no major role for Wonder Woman. With no Doomsday, you don't have a big enough threat for Wonder Woman to get involved. And you don't have death of Superman because clearly, as we've seen with the way that Zack Snyder ended the movie, teasing that he's going to come back, we know Superman's not going to stay dead. We just know that. Death of Superman and fighting Doomsday is worthy enough for a Man of Steel sequel if you want to go that route. My Batman v Superman is going to be a lot like Civil War. But one of the other changes that I'm going to make, give Clark better motivation. Now, with the Man of Steel movie that I've redone, hopefully we have a better idea of the character development that he's gotten. But in this movie, he needs to be given clear motivations for why he disagrees with Batman. Like, this is not how you save the world. You can have them kind of battle it out as far as that's not how you save the world. Oh, well, branding criminals and throwing them in a jail with revolving doors isn't how you save the world either. They can do jabs at each other like that. But you can have Superman disagree by simply disagreeing with the way that he goes about being a superhero. I mean, that's really what the disagreement should have been about. You just don't have all this extra shit in the movie. You can still have Wonder Woman pop up. She doesn't need a major role to jump into the final battle. Now, what I'm substituting Doomsday with, because it can't be, a 2.5 hour movie of Superman and Batman fighting each other. There has to be something larger at play. I still keep in Lex Luthor Jr., because that's who Jesse Eisenberg is playing. He's playing Lex Jr. I don't hate it like everybody else does. But again, go back and look at my review because I poisoned the well watching a lot of reviews for that movie. So I went in expecting him to act a certain way. And when it was much more subdued than how I was led to believe, I was kind of confused. But anyway. And even Lex in the movie doesn't really have a clear motivation of what he wants. Like, he wants to destroy Superman for what? At least I don't really get it. I might have to go back and watch the movie, but whatever. You can have Lex kind of be a mastermind behind it. I would use Metallo. Scoot McNairy, who played the guy that lost his legs. You can still keep that back. I thought he was going to be playing Metallo. I thought the guy who played KG Beast, I thought he was going to be Metallo or something like that. Metallo, I think, is a good character to use for a situation. You have this battle of Metropolis, you have a bunch of casualties. You can either have Lex come to him and say, look, I know how much you hate Superman. What if I told you I can give you the power and the ability to take your revenge? That's easy. And you can have, and again, give Lex much better motivation for why he wants to get rid of Superman. Lex wants Superman's power. Figure out some type of way where if we attack Superman, we, kill him or do whatever, I can somehow extract his abilities from him. I don't know. Something like that. I'm kind of doing this part on the fly. Using Metallo gives both Batman and Superman somebody to fight. Superman because, hey, you can still put the kryptonite in his chest, weaken Superman. That way, he's very, very punchable. Batman isn't really affected by that, but Metallo is like a android, a machine, a cyborg. So he can't, just be dealt with by simple punching and everything like that. And this isn't something that Batman's really run into. The movie that comes out in 2017 is Justice League. That's going to be the only movie that comes out in 2017 in my lineup. With Superman not dying in Batman v Superman, after Metallo is defeated and it comes to bringing up the villain for Justice League, I'm going to do something different. You don't have to end Batman v Superman in a way where it sets up the Justice League. I'd open up Justice League with the setup. But Wonder Woman is already there. Superman and Batman are already there. You can go get Flash and Aquaman in Justice League like they're doing. The villain that I would put in Justice League is Doomsday. Now, hear me out. The reason why I do this is because I realized when I was coming up with this idea that I was really centering this universe around Superman. He was the first one to have his movie. I go back and I give him better development in his movie. I go back and give him better development in the Versus movie against Batman. You make it about him. In Justice League, make it a personal story for Superman. Because all three of those movies are personal stories for Superman. In Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, and in Justice League, they're all personal stories for Clark. So I think, and I literally, before I started recording this video, I literally just came up with the villain for my Justice League redo because I couldn't really think of what I was going to do because the movie's not out yet, so we don't really know anything else besides Steppenwolf, and it's setting up for Darkseid. I think Darkseid is the villain you save for a later movie. But Doomsday, I think, is a great villain because he's fought the Justice League before. He's beaten them before. I realized that this is a story arc for Clark that I'm creating. And I wasn't doing that on purpose. Superman has really gotten the short end of the stick in this universe. So I just want to give him much better motivations. I like Henry Cavill. I want him to be able to really place his stamp on this role. So I make Doomsday the villain of Justice League. Now, when Superman, sees this monster, that's when everybody comes together. I don't know. I didn't really go into too much detail. I really just wanted to do broad strokes when doing my redo. But you can, set it up. I set it up some type of way where they have one encounter, maybe Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. Maybe they defeat them. And, whatever kills Doomsday, he's impervious to when he comes back to life. There's a lot of ways to go. But anyway, you can have it end with Superman's sacrifice of himself to kill Doomsday. Maybe a couple of the other characters are incapacitated. You can have that iconic battle between Superman and Doomsday, where they basically beat each other to death. Because that's what happens. They beat each other to death. And you can end the movie like that. Don't do a stupid ass tease saying, oh, Superman's gonna be back. Cut to black. Do the funeral and everything like that. Still, cut to black. That's how you do that. But this is how I would redo everything. And it's gonna be centered around Superman and him actually being that beacon of hope that people know him to be in the comics. That's how I redo everything. Now, I know this video probably isn't going to get a whole ton of reviews, but I mean, I could go into more detail for the individual movies and just kind of explain a little bit more on what I would change and how I would change it and why, but I'm not going to do that here. I may get into it a little bit later, maybe for Suicide Squad and maybe for Batman v Superman. As far as the next video, I have no idea. I'm going to a wedding next month for Halloween, and maybe Bruce and I are gonna record something then. We're gonna be in the same spot. Who knows what the next video is gonna be? Who knows when the next video is gonna be? Yeah, I hope you guys liked the video. Hope you guys thought my ideas are cool. If not, I mean, I can't really do anything about it. Yeah, so I'll be talking to you guys again.